Hi, I'm Joe Kurtenbach with American Rifleman, and today I just wanted to talk about some of the features you should look for in a holster specifically built for appendix inside the waistband carry. Now, this is kind of a golden age for concealed carry. We've seen a lot more interest both in firearms ownership and personal defense. And going along with that, there have been quite a few refinements in concealment style holsters, both outside the waistband and inside the waistband, that help them reduce the print of the firearm, make them easier to conceal, and increase comfort for the wearer, considering that they're designed to be worn every day. So when it comes to appendix inside the waistband carry, there are maybe even a few more considerations than, say, strong side or behind the hip carry. It's more of a sensitive area, and so those refinements are even more important. So today I wanted to look at a couple examples. I've got two holsters from JM Custom Kydex. I've got their AIWB holster, as well as the Wing Claw 2 holster, and also another one from Keeper's Concealment. I've got their Keeper holster. These are holsters that I would strongly recommend. They are kind of the gold standard for appendix inside the waistband carry. They have worked well for me, so I wanted to use them to show kind of a feature set that you might want to look for in a specific appendix carry holster. I will note that all the guns you're going to see in this video have been cleared and checked and double checked for safety. First, let's start with the things that all holsters need to do. First, they need to retain the firearm. Classic leather holsters do that with a nice tight fit around the gun. Some Kydex holsters usually engage the trigger guard area or the ejection port area to apply a little bit of retention. We also see holsters with adjustable retention, usually by means of a screw that tightens the front and back portions together. At the end of the day, it just needs to hold the gun securely in place, but also allow the user to draw it when necessary. The other thing a good holster needs to do is it needs to protect the trigger. That trigger needs to be fully enclosed so that nothing gets in the way, nothing gets in there and accidentally sets off the firearm. That is a must. A holster must protect the trigger. Finally, a holster obviously needs to attach to the wearer. The whole idea of using a holster for a handgun is to make a portable assembly there so that the handgun goes with you. So when we're talking about appendix inside the waistband holsters, most likely we're going to see a version of belt loop like the Keepers here has, or we're going to see clips like the Wing Claw, or soft loops with some form of snaps. These ones have pull the dot snaps like we're seeing here on the JM Custom Kydex AIWB holster. Any of these are fine. I've used them all. I wear all these holsters. The main idea is that you want to be sure that your holster is secured to you, and all of these methods will accomplish that. Next, we want to orient the gun so that the grip frame of the pistol really kind of rides along the contours of the body, and this is going to help reduce print, make it easier to conceal. And in appendix carry holsters, there are two main ways to do this that work very effectively. The first is in the holster itself, in that Kydex portion, we're actually going to mold in a wedge, and that wedge is going to mean that as the belt is tightened over it, it's designed to kind of be raised above the trigger guard, and it helps kind of push the whole alignment closer into the body. Now, for holsters that don't have a wedge, another popular feature that we've seen for appendix carry holsters is a kind of a wing claw, some kind of concealment claw that is going to protrude out and underneath the grip area of the gun and perform the same function. It's basically going to engage the waistband and the belt in order to orient the gun more along the contours of the body. Now, we're also concerned with orienting the gun not just for concealment, but also for safety and comfort, particularly with appendix carry. We're obviously in a sensitive area, and one way that this is accomplished is on all three holsters here, we use some form of a neoprene sponge or foam wedge in order to basically push the muzzle out a little bit away from the body. And what this does is, well, for one, that wedge, that foam material, is going to be a lot more comfortable against the body than just the hard Kydex. Two, it orients the muzzle kind of away from that sensitive area so that when you're holstering or just going about your day carrying, you're not actually being covered by the muzzle. This is kind of a misconception, and well, it is a reality for holsters that aren't made as thoughtfully as these ones are, but on holsters designed specifically for appendix carry, there are features that keep that muzzle from covering us as we go throughout our day. And the foam wedge or sponge wedge, it's tried and true, and it really does improve comfort quite a bit. So if there's one thing I really wanted to point out with this, and I think you can see it by looking at all three of these holsters, is that an appendix inside the waistband carry holster is definitely a different beast than just a inside the waistband holster. There's a lot of different features and considerations when we're talking about carrying in the appendix position, and holsters like these address those. One more tip I wanted to give you is that one way to increase comfort and also the versatility of your holster, because let's face it, these holsters aren't inexpensive, so we want to make them as useful as possible, is I would recommend that if you carry a Glock 19, for example, or another mid-size firearm, and it kind of comes in a family, maybe consider going for the size larger. So what am I talking about? If you carry a Glock 19, maybe get a holster like I've done here for a Glock 17. This allows you to not only use it for Glock 17s, but actually, and it's a little bit counterintuitive, that longer holster length kind of rides within the crook of your body, and it really does improve comfort a little bit. It helps stabilize the gun. And one thing that we see with people who carry appendix inside the waistband with very small guns is actually, if it has a very short slide and barrel, it may want to roll over the top of your belt because there's nothing anchoring it below the belt line. A longer holster will do that. Over the last few years, I have really found that there are a lot of advantages to carrying in the appendix position inside the waistband. For me, it's been comfort, which is kind of a surprising one, but once I found the right holster, it was definitely a comfort thing. But also concealment, much easier in front, as well as security. I'm in control of this area. So overall, that appendix inside the waistband carry, it has worked for me. But the key is, you really do need a holster that is thoughtfully designed specifically for appendix inside the waistband carry. For more videos like this, stay tuned at AmericanRifleman.org.